All right, so now we're gonna make a stabilized whipped cream. I first wanna get my gelatin going, and so I'm gonna dissolve it right away in water. That way it'll start setting up. And I'm just sprinkling the gelatin right in. It should dissolve, but if you see that some of it's hanging out on top, go ahead and give it a quick stir. It sets up pretty fast, but you can give it a quick stir before it starts getting too thick in there. Now just let that sit for about 5 minutes. And the reason that I love stabilized whipped cream is because you can actually use whipped cream as a frosting. If you tried to use regular whipped cream without any gelatin in it, it would just lose its shape and kind of just melt off of your cupcakes in a really quick amount of time. So when you stabilize it with the whipped cream, you actually can leave it out on your party table, and it just keeps its shape. It's really, really delicious because it's not too sweet. So if you have guests or you yourself don't like sweet frostings, it's really a great option because it's just a light, fluffy, delicious whipped cream. So the next thing we do is start mixing our cream. I had my mixing bowl and the whip in the freezer for 15 minutes. This cold bowl, cold whip method just makes sure that it basically starts whipping really fast and kind of comes together quickly. So, and also make sure that your whipping cream is really, really cold. So I just pulled this out of the refrigerator. So you go ahead and just add that to your bowl. Try to get it all in there. You don't want to lose any of that delicious whipping cream. And then you are going to go ahead and just turn on your mixer slow and then move it up to high. And you're basically looking for it to get to about soft peaks. So I'm going to go ahead and turn mine on. While my cream is whipping, I check to see if my gelatin has set. You'll know the gelatin is fully set when it's thick and has a gel-like consistency. At this point, I heat the mixture over low heat in order to dissolve it, and I'll stir it consistently. When the gelatin is fully dissolved, it will be pretty thin, and at that point I remove it from the heat and let it cool entirely. Just be sure not to let it gel again. Once it's cooled, it should be a nice syrupy consistency. All right, so I can see that my cream is at about soft peak consistency, and that means it's just coming together. It's not really stiff. It still has a little bit of kind of flop to it when you lift it up. And that tells us that we can go ahead and put the powdered sugar and the vanilla in. I've sifted this powdered sugar just to make sure there aren't any clumps because you want this to be perfectly smooth. And my really good vanilla. And for the powdered sugar, you can use less, you can add more. It's really a to-taste kind of thing. So if you really want it just barely sweet, you could just add a tablespoon. I'm just gonna get that mixed in real quick. As soon as you can see that it's all the way mixed in. As soon as it's fully incorporated, it's a good time to go ahead and add the cooled gelatin. I've got my cooled gelatin over here. It's probably been about 5 minutes. Very carefully, you can just kind of barely touch it with your finger to make sure it's cool, but you do want to be careful to not let it completely set up, because if you let it sit there too long, it will do that. But you can just turn the heat back onto low and stir it again and then let it cool. So as soon as it's cooled, you're just going to go ahead and add it in. And as soon as you get it all in there, we'll just start mixing again. And then we're looking for this now to get to stiff peaks, which happens really fast. So my whipped cream feels really thick, I can already tell that the consistency, even though the flavor is going to be the same, the consistency is going to stand up a lot better than a regular whipped cream. I'm going to be able to pipe this or hand frost it onto my cupcakes. And this is going to be another great option for frosting your cupcakes.